everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Chris and Travis. I'm Travis.
And I'm Chris.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on Instagram at Real Talk with Chris and Travis. So today, I was just wondering, when you're disabled, why do people always assume, different things? You know what I'm saying? When you're disabled, people automatically assume that you're getting a check from the government. That's not true.
What?
I have been personally told that by several people, back when I was working in different places, and they were like, why are you even working? Aren't you getting a check from the government? I'm like, no, that's why I'm in here with you. Travis, you ever faced that?
Yeah, I have. I faced the same, something similar to that. But just because you're disabled doesn't mean you just want to sit at home and collect a check from the government.
Right.
Some of us actually want to get out and can get out and be productive citizens in the workforce.
Right.
So, yeah, you can sit at home and collect a check from the government, but some of us don't want to do that. Yeah. What you think?
And I think that's I'm not gonna say that people are crazy for thinking that. I guess it's the way things look is not how they actually are. You would assume that a person who is disabled can't work, so they would acquire money from the government because they're gonna have bills anyway, because there's nobody that really lives for free. But
I think it just depends on that individual's lifestyle, and what they need at that time.
That's true too. That's very true. I know people who they're disabled, but they're working a part-time job too, and that's only because the disability check is not enough for, I guess, all of the bills that they have. And I'm assuming that fits for people who, you live on your own, but where you live, maybe your bills were high and something happened to you where you became disabled. You weren't born disabled to where okay, when I hit 18, the government gives me checks. They only give me this much money, so I need to get a house or an apartment that's in that price range. Yeah. I'm thinking the people that I have in mind, they were not disabled. They had a house, got a house with nice size mortgage, probably was working a really good job, and something happened to cause them to be disabled. And the government, was not providing enough disability money once they became disabled, so they had to go find another job to put with that income. So first assumption is people assume just because you're disabled that the government is handing you money and it's this large lump sum of money when it's really not. Second thing that I found that people assume is that just because you are disabled, you can't, I say you can't defend yourself. And I don't know if I'm maybe using the wrong words right there, but people would assume that because you're disabled, everybody has to look out for you.
That you're defenseless?
Yes. Yeah.
They assume that. I guess society already has this made up perception without even knowing the facts anyway. So they might look at somebody with a disability and be like, oh, they probably can't even protect themselves if somebody run up on them,
That's what they made guns for. Y'all don't quote me on that. I'm just being goofy, man. Y'all know I ain't got no sense.
Yeah, that's a form of protection, defending yourself. But just because, let's say somebody in a wheelchair, just because they can't kick or stomp you doesn't mean they still can't defend themselves. There's people in wheelchairs with a lot of upper body strength.
Yeah.
That can actually probably
hurt people, yeah.
hit you one time and probably,
They want here to quit her.
Spin your head around.
Like a top. Go ahead and take a nap, man. I got a blanket ready for you.
Do you like Mike Tyson used to do his opponents in his prime?
You did not just bring Iron Mike into the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
That's painful. I'm getting a shoulder pain just thinking about it. Ow. But nah, man. That's my second assumption. People assume because you're disabled, that you're defenseless. And a lot of times what strikes me is, I guess you could say my third assumption would be because I am physically disabled, that means I'm also mentally disabled. And to me, that's a big one. You know, because just because something is wrong with my legs does not mean that something is wrong with my brain. I'm perfectly capable of thinking for myself. You know, and that's what just drives me crazy.
Yeah, I wish people would stop assuming that just because they see somebody with a disability does not mean there's something is mentally wrong with them. That's not true. They are normal people just like everybody else too. I mean, just because, I can't walk doesn't mean I can't think for myself or I can't have a conversation with somebody or just whatever,
Right.
It doesn't determine anything.
What was that, number 3? What I just said?
Mm-hmm.
3? Yeah. And that's all you got to do is have a conversation with a person, and that'll tell you a lot, whether they have a mental disability or not. And I know that there are some people who have like a slight mental disability, but it doesn't show up all the time, And you might have a conversation with that person, and they seem completely normal one day, and then you have a conversation with them the next day, and you don't know who you're talking to, But everybody is not like that. And as we're talking about these assumptions, we're not putting the whole world in one big bowl. We're just talking about the things that we've been through personally, stuff like that. My fourth assumption would be, why do people assume that if an able-bodied person or somebody that is not disabled is dating or even married to a person who is disabled, then the person who is not disabled either feels bad for them or is automatically looked at like that's a family member or like a sibling or something like that.
Or a caregiver.
Right. Because like I've said plenty of times on this podcast, I'm married. I've been happily married for like 9 years. I think we're going on 9 years. And when me and my wife first started dating, we would go places and people would automatically assume that she's either my nurse or I'm her brother or her cousin, a family member that she helps out. I'm like, man, what? I can't have a fine woman at the house? She can play nurse if that's what y'all want to think. We ain't gonna take it that far. I'm sorry, YouTube. But people assume just because a person is disabled that they can't, it's almost impossible for somebody who's, I guess you could say, regular or normal to want to be involved with that person. People would assume like, me and my wife been married a long time and we have daughters, and people would see me and her and would assume that, oh, she started dating him because she felt bad for him and he badgered her into marrying him and then hurry up and forced her to have a baby so she couldn't never leave him. But that's not true. Anybody can leave in a marriage anytime they're ready, Now you're gonna have to go through a divorce and all of that, but
right. She's
not obligated to be with me because I'm disabled and we got a child together, so you better stay with me because people are gonna badmouth you. That's not true.
Yeah, that's crazy that people think that just because a able-bodied person is dating somebody with a disability is just because they're feeling sorry for them, or or is because they must have like a ton of money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, right. The whole world is not shallow. Everybody's not superficial. Maybe he or she really does love that person, Stop always assuming the worst just because you see somebody that's able-bodied dating somebody with a disability and you thinking, oh, it's not real, or it's
right.
A caregiver or a sister. I mean, people with disabilities live a normal life just like everybody else too.
Right. So. And my confidence because of my wife has like shot through the roof. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I could conquer the world now, and she makes me feel that way. It's not that she feel bad for me, so that's why she's with me. She just realized that I was a good man, and she gave me a chance to prove it to her. And God was really good to both of us. And he showed up big in us getting married. You know, and but all the years I've been with her has helped to really build, you know, me into like the man I am today. So I mean, that's why I love her and appreciate her for that. So,
man, I think the craziest thing I've ever heard somebody say was, she just with him because she just trying to find herself.
I heard somebody say that too.
So
I had no idea what they was talking about. I was like, find herself. That's something that she do in the privacy of her bedroom. I mean, that's not what you hook up with somebody. You know, I thought they was talking about something else.
Yeah. So you mean to tell me just because somebody has a disability and she's dating that person with disabilities, that's not who she wants to be with? She's just trying to waste time?
Right.
I know dudes that's able-bodied can't even get a chick to look at them.
If those guys are watching this podcast right now, we are sorry.
So, I mean, that's not always the case. I mean, I feel like I can give the able-bodied guys a run for their money.
Come on, Travis.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I mean, it doesn't matter if you're able-bodied or have a disability or whatever. I mean, people shouldn't have these negative thoughts that just because a person is dating somebody with a disability that it's just because of this and that, or it's just whatever, instead of just getting the facts. They could just really be in love, you know?
Right. You know, and that's real, man, because people do assume things. You know, they're on the outside looking in. You've never had a conversation with, you know, with somebody who's disabled or the person who's able-bodied and they're dating or married to the person that's disabled. You hadn't had a conversation with either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you know that the person that's disabled, something might have happened to them while they were married to this person for them to become disabled, and their spouse was like, "I'm not leaving you. You still the same person that I you know,
mm-hmm.
been with before something happened to you." Mm-hmm. Now in my case, I was born disabled, you know, but like I said before, God is good, you know, and I put my focus on Him, and He brought me to the right woman, and the rest is history, you know. Yeah. So it is what it is.
So yeah, I mean, I say people need to stop assuming,
right?
You know, and actually know the facts. You know, ignorance is it's a bad thing. You know.
That's right. You got to stop assuming.
Yeah. Because
that will make well, I ain't gonna say that word. Stop assuming, because then you could become. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I just don't want to say it because I don't want YouTube to demonetize the channel.
Yeah, just ask questions, you know. Just ask questions.
Yeah, ask a lot of questions.
Find out the facts before you assume things. And I think, like I said, everything will be good from there.
Right. Because it doesn't hurt to ask a question. It really doesn't.
Right.
You know, I've had situations where me and my wife, we proudly wear our wedding rings everywhere we go. And when we were dating, like we went to the movies one time, and this girl, I say girl because I think what she did was really immature. If you're a grown woman, you're not gonna do this. But we were at the counter ordering our snacks and stuff like that, and me and my wife, we were out. We was gonna watch a movie, and all of this was way before the pandemic and stuff. So, you know, we were getting our snacks and stuff like that, and the girl looked at my wife and she looked at me and she said, "Oh, is that your brother?" Just like that. And my wife was like, "No, that's my boyfriend. We've been together for a year." And the girl was like, she kind of laughed a little bit and she was like, "Oh, that's so cute. He's got a girlfriend." And my wife was like, "What you mean by that?" And the girl was like, "Nothing. I'm just so happy for him." And my wife looked at me. I was looking at her like it wasn't me. Don't look this way, you know. And my wife wanted to go put hands on her. I'm like, "Nah, we ain't here for that. You know, I ain't trying to charge no money for a fight." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and even to this day, you know, recently we was in Walmart, and dude was just talking to my wife and all of that, and was like, "Hey man, your brother kind of looking at me funny." And she was like, "That's not my brother, that's my husband." And he was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry." And he said, I'm sorry, and I just saw the rings on y'all hand. You know, I you know, and he just, you know, you stand there with that look on your face like, I don't know what to say now. That's what's, you know, but pay attention to details, people. Don't just assume something.
Right.
You know, because you're going to get embarrassed if you do.
Just make yourself look real
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And also,
follow us on Instagram.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Real Talk with Chris and Travis. And also, we have an email address, realtalkwithchrisandtravis@yahoo.com, so y'all can hit us up there if y'all have anything y'all want to ask us or just anything that y'all want to get off the chest.